Hello and welcome back to Valheim, everyone. This is episode 11 of the Valheim survival series, and today we venture into the swamps. So this will be quite a amazing and adventurous episode. And yes, I know my mic sounds a bit different. I do not have my good Rode mic today, so we're making do with earbuds with a built-in mic. So hopefully y'all can still hear me and the audio turns out all right. But with that said, just like I said in the end of episode 10 where we defeated the Elder, that I would be switching to a different world with my same character, as I felt that it might be a little bit better to just be solo for some of these incredible builds and not have to worry about the multiplayer aspect of making sure that everyone is at the same stage in the game and using up lots more resources and everything, especially early in the game. So again, I may have a few close friends join me throughout and do a few builds of their own, but with that said, we are in a new map right now, and this is what I have so far explored on the main island. I really love this seed a ton. So we have the same progress as we did leaving off in episode 10. We've taken out the Eikther boss and the Elder, and then we also found the trader. So I have a portal now to the trader, which is super exciting. And then, as you can see here, I have circled around a large swamp that we will go and explore today. So I'm super excited for that. The swamp is full of surprises and amazing loot. So entering into the Iron Age, I am super excited. Alright, and with that said, this is my little cabin in this world. My little kind of starter house. I kind of brought some of the materials from the other world and got a little head start with this. And so we have a little bedroom loft up here. I have my food and a little fermenter here, cauldron, some cooking, nice little deer stew and a little tankard with a chair there, nice little table and some chests, upgraded workbench and forge. So I'm hoping to upgrade these more, but we obviously do need iron to do so. So I have a few more chests up here. And then as we make our way outside, we obviously have the deck here, a couple little nice doors to come out to it. This is a nice zoomed out look of the front of the cabin. Very simple. Not many resources at all. And as we circle around here, I have a little wood cutting stand here, and this is actually the upgrade for the workbench that is now placed outside so that it can actually still upgrade the workbench, but kind of fits in with the little wood cutting there. And then we do have our smelter and charcoal kiln with some chests that will be for the ore. And then I turned in this little old stone structure that I found in the Black Forest here. Just turned that into a little storage shed, so to speak, for some of the big building materials. So with that said, that is a quick update on the new world, and this world will continue throughout the rest of the series. I have a lot of great building locations that I'd love to do in this seed, and I'm super stoked. So with that, sit back and enjoy the adventure. Alright, so as you can see, the swamp is right across from me here, and I'm just far enough away to not aggro a whole bunch of things, but occasionally some leeches will swim up to the shoreline here, and I've been killing a few of them with the mace. But that's no big deal. So far, it's been really awesome because having a nice little cabin in the Black Forest near a swamp will allow me to get all the loot from the Black Forest as well as all the loot from the swamp. So, in order to go into the swamp safely, this is a very dangerous place. And so far, we just have the Trollhide armor from last episode, and then I also bought the Mangjord belt from the trader, which allows you to carry a lot more weight. It's 450 instead of 300, so I can carry a lot heavier things, which will be very useful when getting iron in the swamp. But first things first, before I even like to get iron, I actually like to get the root mask. Valheim recently added new root armor, which has poison resistance and a very improved skill for your archery if you do have the full set. So for what I'm going to do is actually try and find some abominations, and that is the big sort of swamp monster that we have to take out to get the roots to craft the root armor. And the root mask by itself will give us that poison resistance. So with that said, I need to go hunt for some abominations, And for food, I'm not doing the best diet. I definitely could focus in a bit more on my diet here, but I'm just going to have some honey, some boar jerky, and some deer stew. So this will definitely do in terms of venturing into the swamp. It's also nice to have the house here because I get that full 16 minutes of rested bonus before I enter, which will help me regen stamina much faster. So for my weapons, I'm using the bronze mace at level 3, the bronze buckler at level 3, and the fine wood bow with a bunch of fire arrows. And then you see here I have the swamp key from taking out the elder last time. So that's all I'm going to bring into the swamp with me right now. And with that said, let's do this. Alright, I'm low-key very nervous. You know, I did like step into the side here just a little bit because I did have to try and fight off a jogger before that was coming near my base, and you'll see the joggers pretty soon. They're pretty scary, and it's pronounced I think like Draugr, and it means the undead. You can see one right over there in the distance, that little shadow that's kind of moving very slowly. So the swamp is a scary place, that's for sure. So with that, we do have to find these things now. There will be skeletons, draugrs, there will be blobs, oozes, and leeches, abominations, wraiths, lots of dangerous mobs in here, but it's kind of a spooky and cool place to adventure. But it's a cool place to adventure when you have the right armor, that is. So with just trollhide armor, this is where I am a bit nervous. So I'm actually going to get my bow ready, because with the fine wood bow that is upgraded, I can actually one-shot things if I get really sneaky. So you can see here there's a skeleton off in the distance there. I can just one-shot that because it hasn't seen me yet. And I actually did miss my shot. But there we go. You can see that I just one-shot it there without it even seeing me. As long as they're not aggroed on you, you will be able to do that and just one-shot them. So with that said, I'm going to slowly make my way into the swamp, making sure I look all around me. I kind of like to zoom out on my character just a little bit so I can actually see some things. I can hear a leech right now. You can kind of hear the little rustling in the water of them. I don't see it yet, but making sure to kind of stay on land where we can before we go into the water, because I definitely hear the leech. We'll see if I can actually find it. I don't think I can right now, but I'll definitely find it at some point for you guys, and you'll see what a leech looks like. Yep, you can see one right up there in the water, and that one is aggroed on me. So we do have a skeleton as well that's aggroed. I'm just going to give it a shot. Skeletons hate the blunt damage, so the mace is amazing in the swamp. Very amazing, no pun intended. So you can see here a jogger off in the distance. It doesn't have the red exclamation point, so it's not aggroed on us yet. And you can see that I can just one-shot it with the fine wood bow and the fire arrows, which makes for a really awesome and easy, quick finishing of the joggers there. You can see there in the distance we do have a spawner, which will continue to spawn joggers if I don't take that out. And honestly, I may want to take that out. You can see we do have a jogger here. I can parry it with the mace, and you can see there that boom, we have entrails, which is what we get from the jogger, and I can actually make sausages with those, which is really awesome. So swamp always spooks me out, I must say. It just always does. But it is a lot of fun nevertheless. So you can see here that the leech is down here, and we can go ahead and we try not to get poisoned by this, because poison will really bring our health down a whole bunch. So I'm going to do is kind of come in on the side, get a few whacks, and we got poisoned there. So you'll see I was at nearly 85 health or so, and you'll see how brutal this poison is. It's just going to drop our health on the bottom left-hand corner there, like mad. So you can see there that it went from 85 health all the way down to like 58 there, and that is definitely pretty brutal. So getting poisoned in the swamp is a very, very brutal sort of a thing. It's actually a lot more detrimental than actually getting hit just by a jogger. So with that said, we do want to try and take out that spawner, and I think I'm going to try and do that at a distance, because I don't really want to get killed by going up there, knowing that I have very bad quality armor at the moment. I believe with a couple of good shots, I can take this thing out. There you go. As you can see, that took that small spawner out. And now we just have to get the bigger spawner, which is the purple one right behind it. So again, as you can see here off in the distance, we have an oozer. Those are very dangerous and again do a ton of poison damage. So I'm going to try and get a good shot in on it before it gets terribly aggroed on me. Again, just ranging it from a far distance. That's why I love the bow, especially because when we kill it, it will actually break up into a whole bunch of little blobs that will all try and poison us. So I want to try and get it to be almost dead before it comes over here. So you can see there the fire arrow got it, and now the blunt, we can just take out those little blobs, and we can get all of the ooze from them, which will be useful in cooking recipes down the road. And I know it sounds kind of disgusting, and it probably is, but it can make some pretty good foods. So that is one thing that we want to be very careful of, is those oozers, because as you can see, those little green things, the little shiny green guy over there, that's just a single blob. That's not as bad as a full-on oozer like we just took out there. So with that said, I am also going to sneak up right over here, and we are going to try and shoot the jogger spawner here, as well as the joggers, because you can see it just continues to spawn joggers. And we have a 2-star elite right here, which is a super, super detrimental jogger. If that hits us, we are dead. We are dead in one shot. So we cannot let it hit us. You can see its health is ridiculously slow to actually go down. So taking out those spawners is a huge success in my mind. So once I actually kill this 2-star jogger elite, I will actually go back to my house because it is becoming dark, and I believe it is going to be nighttime very soon. So what I'm going to do is take that guy out while he is just... oh, never mind. This is turning into some trouble here. Some trouble indeed. And I may very well die. We do have to get these joggers out before I can even have a straight shot back. The problem is it's becoming nightfall, and if I'm stuck out here at nightfall, that is a no bueno for me, because the wraiths will begin to spawn, and when the wraiths spawn, I am very, very dead. Alright, so you can see there's another jogger. We can just one-shot it there because it lost aggro on us. And the 2-star jogger elite will be down here somewhere, and that's the one I'm very concerned about because I know I have not killed it yet. So I believe I can also take out that spawner. There we go. So that is a big success. That officially kind of opens our way into the swamp for the time being, which is really, really good. So I'm trying to fire some fire arrows all around just to kind of see where that jogger is. And because it is getting really dark, and it will be nightfall very soon, it looks like this is the jogger elite. I'd like to say it is anyway. So I'm actually going to run. I am going to make a run for it right out of the swamp, because it is nighttime now, and we definitely don't want to be stuck out here when those wraiths are spawning, especially not with this armor. So I'm going to go ahead and go get that rested bonus. We can see Odin right there looking down upon us. That is the little man in the hood, the little shadow of the man in the hood. That is just Odin, so do not be too afraid of him, because he does nothing. He just kind of looks at us, and that's it. I've never really known the purpose of that. It's like he's kind of looking upon our hard work in the Valheim world. So I am going to go ahead and rest up. We did make it back without dying, but it's very, very risky to be out in the swamps at night. And that 2-star jogger elite is still alive, so I do have to keep that in mind, because that is going to be extremely hard to take out. Alright, so it is the next day now, and it is raining, which is just fine because it doesn't matter if you're wet in the swamp. It is always slowly raining in the swamp, so you're always going to be wet, which means you're always going to have it a bit tougher when it comes to stamina regen. So again, I'm just going to eat up as much as I possibly can right now, and we're going to go ahead and go back into the swamp here on this dangerous mission. You can see here that there's some deer meat. That is because the mobs from the swamp actually kill the mobs from the Black Forest. So like if I led a troll from the Black Forest into the swamp, they would actually both fight each other. Like a jogger could fight a troll. So you obviously saw the joggers yesterday, and we saw the leeches. What I'm really concerned about is that 2-star jogger elite, which I believe is the one that's right over here. I'm very concerned about this one, the one that is running here. You can see him off in the distance. And I wonder if I can get a shot in on it. That is going to be very tough. Look at how fast they run. This is insane. Alright, so we are going to get the heck out of here, because this thing is going to completely destroy us. And we're actually just going to range it. Oh my gosh. That just scared the living berserkers out of me. Alright, so we're going to get a shot in on it, and we're going to lead it into the Black Forest, because these gray dwarves are actually going to fight it. As you can see here in a moment, we should have it still aggroed on us, wherever it is. Maybe it lost aggro. I'm actually very surprised at that. Well, we know it's still out there, and in that case, I am actually going to activate my Eikther so that I can run a bit faster, because this is one of the most dangerous mobs that can ever be in the swamp, is a 2-star jogger elite. So we are going to slowly make our way back down, making sure we're not being snuck up on from behind. And we can see that he is down there. So he must have just lost aggro on us, for the time being anyway. And I do kind of want to actually keep these gray dwarves alive, because they could really assist in making sure that that jogger elite takes a lot more damage. You'll see here the jogger elite is right down at the bottom of that hill fighting that deer. But if it does come up here, these gray dwarfs should be able to take it out. And you can see here I'm not taking much damage from the gray dwarfs. So there you see it. The gray dwarfs are also going to try and fight the jogger elite, but the jogger elite does over 100 damage with one hit on the sword. So gray dwarfs are absolutely no match at all for the jogger elite, which is partly why I need this thing to be dead. Alright, so we have one more gray dwarf left to go against this thing, and then it's game over. Oh man. Alright, this is going to be a tough battle. A very tough battle. So we can see that the jogger elite is aggroed on something over there. We have the Eikther ability, so we can run, and we just have to hope that a troll doesn't spawn. But honestly, a troll spawning might be a really, really good thing, because the troll can also help us fight this thing. You can see here how many shots I have to throw at it before it's even taking any damage. So this thing is crazy powerful and crazy fast as well. So let's get it aggroed back on me, because I do not want this thing alive when I'm exploring the swamps. So I'll get back to you guys when this thing is taken out. Alright, so I have actually lost track of that jogger elite. It must have run off and tried to attack some other mob and then never came back. So it is either roaming around somewhere in this forest, or it has despawned at this point. I'm hoping that it has despawned. So with that said, I am going to go back into the Black Forest, or into the swamp here, and hope that I can get an Abomination to spawn to show you guys what that is like. Alright, so as you can see here, an Abomination has spawned right next to that crypt. So I'm going to hopefully get this thing at a distance, and the fire arrows will do the most amount of damage. But this thing does a lot of damage when it hits. Honestly, it is still much easier to take out than a 2-star Draugr Elite, but it has a lot more health than any mob in the swamp. So this is an abomination. And after killing this, you will see what we get. But sometimes they kind of go into this like drunk mode and kind of wander off. So they're not actually terribly hard to kill. And again, as long as you really focus in on drawing the bow all the way back and hitting your shots, then it will definitely get pretty low on health. So I'm going to try and just make sure I've eaten everything. Make sure I'm on full health and stamina. And we'll wait for it to come over here. And it has various amount of attacks. It has that swipe attack. And again, if we kind of just stay at a distance, and we can kind of use all these little rocks to kind of help us. So as you can see, it's going to try to kind of swipe there. We can kind of use all these rocks to distract it, which actually makes life a lot easier when fighting it. And these rocks were surrounding that spawner that we shot from a distance before. So as you can see, it tried to kind of swipe there. We jumped out of the way just in time, and we did defeat it here. There we go. Look at that. So we get Guck, and we get an Abomination Trophy. So let me actually drop these fragments in this pine cone here, so I can actually show you all of the amazing drops that we get from this thing. So let me just make sure that I have picked up everything from that. Perfect. So we here get 5 roots and the Abomination Trophy, as well as some Guck, which will come in very handy later down the road. And that Guck can also be found by the glowing sacks on the sides of trees. If you kind of climb up the tree and axe those down, you can obtain Guck that way. So with that said, we have our Abomination taken out, and we need to get 1 more of these before we can actually make the root mask, because we need 10 of these to make the root mask. And then we also need ancient bark to make the root mask, which can be obtained by chopping down these ancient trees. So let me get another abomination taken out and some ancient bark, and then I can also be marking down these crypts while I'm at it. So I just like to kind of zoom in when I come across one and just mark it as C. That will be all of my crypts, so that when I am ready to go, I'll grab all the iron from those. Then I will be ready to go with my good root mask. Having that poison resistance will be so useful in the swamp, because I don't have to worry about all of the leeches and oozes and blobs poisoning me, which does a lot of damage. So with that said, we have that abomination taken out. I'll grab 1 more, some ancient bark, and get back to you when we have the root mask. Alright, so I have now crafted and upgraded the root mask to level 3, and I'm doing this before I even get any other root armor, because this thing is awesome. And at level 3, it provides 12 armor, so it actually is slightly more armor than the level 3 troll helmet. But this is going to be amazing, because as you can see, it is resistant versus poison. And then the entire set of 3, so if I have the full set of root armor, gives us plus 15 to our archery skill, which is really, really awesome. So now, with this new root mask, I don't really have to worry about much poison damage. So let me see if I could find a leech somewhere. And as you noticed from before, when we had the leech hit us, it took us from about 85 health down to about 58. So if I find another leech right now, let's see what it does now that we actually have the proper gear to give us that poison resistance. Alright, so I have a leech here. Let's see what happens when it hits me. Well, we didn't quite let it hit me here, because we do have to take out this blob. Well, the blob hit me there. So we were at 89 health, and it stops now at around 83. So only like 6 damage from poison now, instead of over 25. So that is amazing. And as you can see here again from the leech, we are at 89 health. And we get the attack from the leech, but the poison brings us only from 80 down to about 70. Yeah, 72, but we're regenning just as fast as we get the poison, which is really awesome. So yeah, definitely a useful thing to have this root mask, because now we don't really have to worry about these little buggers poisoning us, and we can fully focus on the Draugrs and the Abominations. So with that said, I'm going to get a full set of this root armor now. And again, that will probably take a few in-game Valheim days to kind of explore a lot of the swamp and wait for these abominations to spawn. And then when we do have them spawned, we can get the full set of root armor. And then I will show you what the inside of one of those crypts look like. And we can go ahead and get some iron and step into the Iron Age. And that is my goal for this episode. So stay tuned, and I'll get back to you in a few Valheim days with some full root armor. Alright, so a few Valheim days later, check this out. I have the full root armor, as well as my Trollhide cape, because it does give a bit more armor. As you can see, it gives an armor of 3, so 39 armor now instead of about 33 armor, I think it was with the Trollhide. So that's better armor, and you can see in the top right corner, improved archery. So with the bow now, we will be doing some serious damage. So with that said, now that we have full root armor, let me take you to some crypts, and I will show you how to take out one of those, and we'll grab a bunch of iron. Alright, so we do have a jogger here. We can just parry it, and boom with the mace, just like so. And again, if you don't parry it, it doesn't take too much damage away. It's not the end of the world. They'll do about 14 to 15 damage for an average jogger. But let's go to our crypt right here. And with the swamp key in our inventory, obviously, we can go ahead and press E to open, and sunken crypts. So this is what it'll look like in the entrance. And all you gotta do is go throughout the whole thing and mine these muddy scrap piles. So I do have the fully upgraded, or not fully upgraded, but the level 3 bronze pickaxe. And this is one of the most satisfying things to do. It is so much fun to mine muddy scrap piles. And I always like to have a strategy for any dungeon, really, in terms of working my way from the left all the way around, so that I always know kind of where I am and what I've done so far. So you can see here that we have a blob, and I'm just going to let it come and get us. We can do the special attack with the mace, and one-shot it just like that. So they're really not too hard in these crypts. The other thing that I'll mention is that we will find rooms with a whole bunch of Draugr in them, and so that is something to take note of. We do have another muddy scrap pile, but because I like to work from my way from the left, I don't think that's a scrap pile. Nope. So this is all just dead ends, so that would be our next pile to mine. And I know it's pretty dark in here. It is definitely pretty dark in here. Soon I might try and get the crystal from the trader so that I can light up the dungeons when I'm mining in them. But again, we can kind of mine this, and as you can see, there's a Draugr. So I like to keep like a little bit of muddy scrap pile, because then I can just get up close to it. And there we did get hit, but as you can see, not the end of the world. And with the special attack on the mace, that Draugr is now taken care of. And we can go ahead and mine the rest of this. And there's most likely going to be another Draugr in this chamber here. Well, there is not, so we actually got lucky. So we can collect these withered bones, and of course the coins, but the withered bones, you will need 10 of those in order to summon in Bone Mass, which is the next boss. And then scrap iron is what this looks like, and obviously this cannot be teleported, but we are very close to our base with our smelter, so that is no big deal. So I will just actually head back with these few 11 scrap iron, and show you what it's like to have some iron smelted. And then another thing I will mention is that in these sunken crypts, This is also where you can find the Vegvisir bone mass, so you can actually register the bone mass location on your map, similar to the way we did for the Elder as we were taking out the burial chambers. So it is a very similar concept. So I'm going to just run it back to my house, and let's check out some of this new improved archery skill while we're at it. Wow. Yeah, that's insane. We were already kind of one-shotting them, but this is amazing. Check out how far that bow goes now. I don't even have to aim up like quite as high with the archery skill. Let me get back with this iron and get it smelting. And we will make a few iron weapons, I think will be the next thing. An iron pickaxe and a couple of iron weapons. And we are stopped by another abomination, which is no big deal. We have plenty of arrows. And I do love these things quite a lot because that root armor is just amazing, and I can just continue upgrading the root armor that I have. Alright, so I am now back at the base, and we'll get some of this iron smelted. So let me go ahead and put some coal in, and then fill the other side with some scrap iron. We'll grab some nice silvery iron ingots. We'll let that go for a bit until it spews out some nice iron ingots. But as you can see, this root armor now in the full daylight, God, it's just so beautiful. Such a cool addition to the game. Really fits in with the vibe of the swamp. So I'm super excited to get this thing to max level and to get a bunch of iron tools and iron gear. But I'll show you guys the first iron scrap as it comes out. It's really, really cool. So now with that iron scrap, we can make a whole bunch of cool items. So I think I'm going to make the iron pick and the iron mace. Those are the two first upgrades I'm going to do. Alright, so after a few more Valheim days and a bit more iron, I'm already starting to save up some extra. I now have the level 3 iron mace and the level 3 iron pickaxe. And these are not max level yet, but the iron pick is already the best pick we can get in the game as of now. So that is really, really an improvement because that will give us a lot of durability and allow us to mine a whole bunch of iron and just be a really good pickaxe through the rest of the game. And as you can see here, well, I'll bring you back to my bronze mace and we can compare the difference from a level 3 bronze mace to a level 3 iron mace. So as you can see that my level 3 bronze mace does a blunt of 47, and as you can see that the level 3 iron mace does a blunt of 67. So that is incredible difference, absolutely incredible difference. And I also forgot to mention I'm going to probably make the tool rack for the forge because now that we have iron, we have unlocked a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So this tool rack is the next upgrade that I could probably put somewhere right in there as soon as I actually get the 15 iron, which I'm really close to having. So that's one thing to mention there. And then another thing to mention is wraiths before I end the episode. Wraiths will only spawn at nighttime, and, well, I'm still kind of scared to go into the swamp at nighttime, to be honest, but let me cut ahead in the video and have it be nighttime and see if I can get a wraith and show you all how to take out one of those. Alright, so I managed to get a wraith that is aggroed on me, and these things really hurt. It is the middle of the night, first of all, so I'm going to try and kind of lure it into the Black Forest rather than having to deal with a whole bunch of other mobs, but the fire arrows actually do a lot of damage on these. So what I like to do is kind of run away. As you can see, I can let it get close, and as it swipes, I can kind of jump. And then, as you can see, we just took it out. So if they do hit you, it's not the end of the world. They'll do close to 40 damage. They definitely do quite a bit, but as you can see, we get chains from them. So now with that chain, we can actually make another forge upgrade, and we can make the hanging braziers, which are so beautiful. So let me make one of those on the front of my cabin here, and I do believe we need 5 chains, or actually no, I think we only need 1 chain. Let me actually see what that recipe costs. Should be in the furniture. Yes, only 1 chain. So let me get 2 coal and 5 bronze, and I'll make this hanging brazier to go right up there. Alright, so there we go. That is what the hanging brazier looks like, and we just need to fuel it with coal, which is really awesome. So definitely does not use up some sort of a crazy valuable resource, but with that said, that is the gist of this episode. Just a little bit of a guide on everything that we'll kind of be coming across in the swamp. And with that said, all the future episodes will probably be mini swamp adventures, as well as maybe building some tree houses and stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I'll probably also end up getting iron armor and all of that good stuff, because that is now unlocked as well. And iron armor does a significant amount of protection. You can see Iron Scale Mail already starts off with an armor of 14 just with level 1, which is pretty great compared to the root armor if we just need a tank and have a whole bunch of protection. So I may end up making that pretty soon. But with that said, that concludes this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. I know it was a bit different than some of the other ones. I know we're in a new world now and all of that, but it is definitely coming along nicely. Super happy with my little cabin here on the edge of the swamp, and I am excited to really dive into these adventures with you all. And we have many more biomes to come after the swamp, many more builds as well. I mean, this is going to be such a cool series, so hope you all enjoyed. If you have any other questions, obviously feel free to comment below. I hope I covered some of the very basics of the swamps in this tutorial / episode. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in episode 12. Cheers.